All right. Yeah, bye week came at a good time. I thought our guys handled the bye week well. Coaches got on the road recruiting, did a lot of good things there, and we're excited for a great chance against Liberty, a good opportunity, and we know it's going to be a challenge. So, questions?
This week, there's been a lot of hype from the national media about the Group of Five and Old Dominion specifically. How do you keep the team focused on not looking at that and at the task at hand and going 1-0?
Well, I'm not on social media, so I don't see any of that, which I don't know, may hurt, may help, I don't know. But what I've focused on is, preparation being the key for us, and we've got to continue to do that. Preparation's the key, and we've prepared well, and then we've played violent and played fast, and so I think the guys have seen the rewards of that, and so that's been the focus, is focusing on that process, probably more than anything else.
3 games into the season, how is this team mentally handling success?
I think we're handling success well. To us, I think they're probably, as much as we are, want to go 1-0, I think that there's still a lot of different things that we could do and play better. I think there's still guys who know that we maybe didn't practice our best going into Indiana, and then we've practiced well each of the last 2 weeks and seen the rewards of that, and I think that that's kind of the key. So we've been rewarded with good preparation, good practice with good results, and so I think that right now is the thing that's being able to keep the guys on the right path mentally.
You guys have done one of the big things is protecting the quarterback and not giving up sacks. 2 sacks through 3 games this year compared to 15 last year. Just a lot goes into that.
Yeah, it's really everybody. Obviously the offensive line is playing well, and Coach Hutt's done a great job getting those guys coached up, getting them playing on the same page, playing physical, playing with technique, playing competitive. But I think the quarterback is doing a nice job of avoiding sacks if there is a breakdown, but he's also doing a great job of getting the ball out quick. The wideouts are getting open on time. The tight ends are protecting well. The running backs are protecting well. And then we're able to run the football, so we're able to stay out of 3rd and long in some of those situations that put you in a really bad spot. So it's been a little bit of everything in order. And I've been saying that for a few years when it was the other way, right? It was a little bit of everything the other way. And so, but I think, I talked about it before when in our last game we were able to win the sack battle 4-0, able to win the TFL battle, 8-3. That's creating that sort of chaos on defense, and then eliminating that on offense is something that's going to make you be pretty successful.
Kind of along those lines, a little bit of a loaded question here, but just the difference that can make when you're not giving up those sacks. When you have 13 sacks from last year that aren't there anymore, just the difference that can make in success.
Well, the rushing battle has proven to be a pretty key stat for us and really throughout the country this year, and really throughout our league last year as well. And sacks are twofold on that. One, they count negative in the sack total, which is it's debatable of whether that should happen, but they do. But then also, when you put yourself in bad spots where now maybe you don't have the opportunity to run the ball consistently and do those sort of things. So it kind of serves as twofold on that and that battle. And that's something that analytics shows is going to be a pretty huge stat.
You talked about the bye week coming at the right time. I know you can't control the schedule, but the huge win on Tech, is there a part of you as a coach that want to keep it rolling? How did you handle, you know what I'm saying? I know how do you handle that? Coming off the big win, then you got to take a lull for a second.
I think if we would have kept playing, I would have said it was great, and if we didn't, then I would have said it was good. I don't know. It's one of those things where I do actually think there was a major positive to not playing, because all the hype and noise that we talked about, that allowed that to dissipate a little bit and allowed us to make sure that we were able to focus and go out there and play. The other thing that was great for us is last week was the first time we've had bad weather in a very long time. You know, we didn't even have to reschedule or do anything during camp in our practices. So last week on Tuesday was one where we weren't able to practice. Well, if that had been a game week, that would have been a bad deal. We would have had to wait it out, and who knows how long we would have had to wait for that. And so it ended up, there was just some timing purposes. It ended up being a great thing.
Preparing for Liberty this week, saw Ethan Vasco go out in the after halftime against JMU. Preparing for him or preparing for Merdinger, who's a very different style of quarterback, how do you prepare your team for both of those different quarterbacks?
Well, they actually played a third one too. The Houck kid came in and did some nice things as well. You're preparing for their offense. I mean, you're not necessarily preparing for the individual. You're preparing for that offense at this point. Obviously, you know, Ethan being a local kid, we hope he gets to play because you don't want to see anybody have any games taken away from him. So particularly when we know it's a big game for him and his family, so we hope he gets to play. If he doesn't, you know, we know they've got other guys who can execute their offense. So that's what we're looking at, is how do we defend this offense, which is a difficult offense to contend with. They have some playmakers at receiver. They've got some experience at offensive line, and they've really settled in and kind of come up with an offensive line group that's going to be their guys. They had 3 different lineups through the first 3 games, but the last 2 games have been the same one. You know, they've got some dynamic playmakers at running back, and then, you know, the number 1, he's kind of half receiver, half running back, and he's a very, very, very good player. You know, and so, you know, they've got some option base to their offense, but they'll take some shots down the field. They'll drop back pass. It's an interesting offense, and so we just have to be prepared to defend that.
You said you went out recruiting, coming off a win against a Virginia Tech kind of program. Is it easier to get your foot in the door immediately after that? Is there more buzz? Do you notice a difference at all?
I mean, you notice a difference from, you know, I was in Virginia on Friday, and you notice a difference just like with the random people, just people kind of yelling out and things like that. But, I mean, we're recruiting places where we've been recruiting for a long time, so our foot's been in that door, and people know how we operate and the way we do business. That's where we were this weekend, is we were in places that we've been before, and so I think those people, you know, we've been around them so much that it wasn't that big a deal. They just, you know, treated us like we've been there before and that sort of thing. But yeah, you know, when, you know, I'm at a game on Friday night and there random people yelling stuff at me, yeah, I mean that occurs. But if had we lost, there's probably going to be, you know, it probably still yelling, just with a little bit more vitriol to it. So, but other than that, I mean, it was about the same.
What about places you had not been or hadn't been as much?
The places, I went to a place that I hadn't been, and I'm not allowed to mention it, but I went to a place I hadn't been, but we had been recruiting there for a while. I hadn't been there, but we had been recruiting there for a while, and we'd been able to secure some players from there, so they were just happy to see us again. So they obviously they were happy because they were able to see their guys win a game and that sort of thing. So it was a little bit more that way.
Ricky, I don't know if you've been asked this since the game, but considering Tech letting Brent go and you guys have a history together, I know it's part of the coaching business. How tough is that? Do you send him a text? Like, what's your thought on all that, just how it goes down? Yeah,
I mean, I'll keep, you know, him and I's interactions personal and private, but yeah, it's a very, you know, there's been some things this week that have really brought home the coaching profession and made it so that it's real life. I mean, obviously, you know, we win the game, and the ACC network is there to interview me after the game, and it's a moment where everyone's very happy and excited, and obviously all wins are big wins, and so that was a great win, and especially the way we played. And then, you know, waiting for me is his wife and 2 daughters, who I've obviously known since they were, you know, very, very small. And it was, you know, they were excited for me, but, you know, I think we all knew what might happen. And so that was a very sobering moment right there. Obviously says a lot about their character to congratulate me, but, you know, I wanted just to give give all three of them a hug and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, it's a very real thing. You know, we're lucky to coach, and we're lucky to do this business. We sign up for it because we love this game. Our families don't sign up for it, right? You know, our wives do, I guess, but our kids don't, and they get some awesome experiences. I say this all the time. You know, my sons have been to the Rose Bowl, right? They've been in a locker room when you've won a Big Ten championship. They run on the field after these games when we win, and their friends are with them and things like that. My son is on the sideline for the games and gets to experience all those sort of things. We've got guys coming over to our house and play video games against them and things like that. But on the flip side, right, my oldest son has now lived in, 4 different places, and I'm lucky because I've been in places for a while. So, but he's lived in 4 different places. Youngest has lived in, 3. So that's a little bit different deal, and really they never know when they're going to have to move again. Another side, I want to pass on my condolences to the family of Sean Clark, Janelle and his 2 kids. This game takes a physical toll on all of us to do something that we love. And I know that besides his family, there was nothing that Sean loved more than football. And I got to know Sean, and he was a friend of mine. And you get to know these people at these conferences and things like that, and you get to know them as people, as humans. And he was a great man and a terrific father, and somebody that you can look up to and respect, and was a good person in this game. And to lose him so suddenly, it's tough on a lot of people. And you think back of what this game means to so many people, but also on the flip side of it, unfortunately, what it can sometimes do to you, and the stress and those sort of things, what it can do to your health.
You've seen Vasco in other uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
You came up pre-portal, pre-NIL. How different is it now how normal is it now to see guys face your team in a different uniform?
Pretty normal.
It's almost like professional baseball at this point.
Yeah, pretty normal. Pretty normal. It's basically, well, I think every week we see somebody like that, and then every week when I'm going through the depth chart, there are very few kids that this is their first school. Very few. And that's not Liberty. That's everybody in the country. That's just the way it is now. Yeah, you're probably going to see these guys in different spots, and you never know when you're going to see them again, and those sort of things. It's a little bit. We just talked about it, but it's a little bit like the coaching profession. You never know when you're going to see these coaches again, right? That's how that's been like that for a while, but now it's with the players as well.
These in-state games, Ricky, we know how important it is, but Liberty has had y'all's number the last few times you've met. Can you sense, I don't know, from the coaches, from the players, or administrators, I don't know, just how important it would be to get a win Saturday night here in Norfolk? I
can sense it from myself. I want to get a win. A, it's our next game. B, I don't think we've played our best football against this team in the past, and so I would like to see us go out there and play our best game and see where it ends up, because that to me is the important thing. Is let's go out there and play really good football and put our best foot forward.
Talk about playing your best game. To me, it looked like Colton played the best game he's played in his career at Old Dominion against Virginia Tech. How do you keep that momentum? How do you keep that mojo going?
Yeah, I think it'd be debatable. I think he's played a couple other really good games, but I think he's probably put together his best 2-game stretch. Yeah, especially when you consider everything he's doing, taking the checkdowns, running, eliminating negative yardage plays, for the most part protecting the football. He's doing all those sort of things. So I think he just needs to keep doing what he's doing in preparation, keep doing what he's doing during the game, and letting the game come to him. He's not trying to force explosive plays. He's really, but when they're there, he's making them and taking advantage of them. And he's doing a really nice job. Really, really happy with the way he's playing right now.
What's Jason Henderson's role been with the team? How much has he been around?
You know, I mean, for Jason, you know, his role is going to be there. Our guys want to make sure they're still supporting him, and that's one of the things. He's been around a little bit, and you know, he's, like I said, I've seen him. You know, when I get to see him, he seems content. I wouldn't say he seems, obviously, when you have something that you love that much taken away from you, I wouldn't necessarily say he seems happy, but he seems content, and he seems at peace with his decision, which is what that's probably made me as happy as anything, as seeing him at peace with that decision. Again, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that anyone expect him, or I expect him to be, you know, joyous yet. I mean, he's happy when we win. And those sort of things, but I wouldn't say that, you know, but seeing him at peace is, I think, put a lot of people at ease.
What's your familiarity with Coach Chadwell? Cross paths at all? Do you know him at all? Or just kind of...
I mean, yeah, he was, you know, first year at the Sun Belt Conference and things like that. We were able to. The thing I really appreciate about Coach Chadwell is what you see is what you get, right? I mean, what the persona that he puts out there publicly that's who he is. He's a man who believes deeply in his faith. He's a family man. He's a very honest guy and those sort of things. But the same, I mean, exactly what you see is what you get with that guy, and I really appreciate that, because that's not always the case, but with him it is. And so he's a great football coach. Obviously have a lot of respect for what he does X's and O's wise, but also motivation wise, he does some really good things.
How big a deal is it for your program to have won a Power 4 game on the road? You hadn't done that before.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I just read that. It's big because it was a win. It was big because we played well. And we played well pretty much from start to finish. There are some things, obviously, we all wish we would have made a couple more plays there at the end, but for the most part, we played well start to finish. I think that was the biggest part, is putting together a full game, whether it was Power 4 or, you know, not, that doesn't matter. It was about playing well from start to finish in the game. I think that's the key thing.
How hard is it from your perspective you're successful, you're doing well, but then trying to convince your guys, right, you can't just say copy and paste. How do you replicate it and get them to do it?
No, I mean, I think that's been the key, is talking to the guys about preparation. That we can copy and paste. We can copy and paste the mentality of which we prepared. We can copy and paste the mentality in which we recovered. We can copy and paste the speed in which we practiced, the focus in which we met with. Yes, the game plan is going to be obviously different. We're playing a different opponent, but that can be a copy and paste, and that's something that I think we've been able to show and reap rewards for what we've been able to say. And so that's been one of the main things.
Has there been any position group, offense, defense, special teams coach that's really stood out to you, like maybe, I don't want to say outperformed expectations, but just really like played the part here in the last few weeks?
No, I think that's been the beautiful part, is I think everybody's done their job. Everybody's gone out there and done a nice job. And, you know, we've been able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball with offensive line and defensive line. You know, tight ends were able to make a few catches, you know. I think the linebackers have played really well. Running backs are pass pro, and obviously created some explosives. 3 different running backs scored touchdowns in that last game. You know, I think our safeties have come down and played well and created some turnovers and done those sort of things. Our wideouts have got open, blocked well. You know, the quarterbacks have thrown the ball well and also run well and protected the football. The corners have come up and tackled really, really well, but have also done a nice job in covering and stopping explosive plays. Special teams, we've done a great job. So I think it's been more about the collective than necessarily one group standing out.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, you got any Virginia Tech fans yelling at you when you were out?
Craig?
Yeah.
Well, do it again.
Yeah. Martin, Coach Rahne was very complimentary of the way the O-line is playing. What is clicking for y'all right now, having success?
I feel like our ability to move the ball is getting a lot better. We're able to protect our quarterback well, which allows them to connect on the outside. So as long as we're able to keep the ball moving and give Colt enough time, then we should be able to keep playing well.
You talked about protecting the quarterback. You guys
Yes, sir.
only allowed 2 sacks in 3 games. It was
Yes, sir.
15 through that 3 games last year.
Mhm.
What's been working for you guys? I know it's offensive line's a big part of it, but it goes so much beyond that
Right.
too. What's been working? What's led to that success?
There's a lot more chemistry now. You know, we have 4 returning guys. We have Ryan Joyce, who was in the system at Fordham with Coach Hutt. I feel like we're playing a lot of good football together, and just each day at practice we're going into work and just playing off each other, trying to get each other better.
And how does that set you up for? Kind of a loaded question here, but how does that kind of set you up for success when you're not losing those yards and playing from behind so much? I mean, that's got to really set up the offense and make it easier to be more effective.
Most definitely. Like we say, we don't want any drive killers that'll end up ending our drive early. But even if one were to happen, like we're really 1-0 with each play. We just leave that behind and worry about the next play.
What do you think of the way Colton's just playing right now when you watch the tape back? He seems.
I mean, he's playing great football. We love what he's been doing so far, but we have a lot of football left, so I'm excited to see what he's able to do for the rest of the season.
As you prepare for Liberty, when I look at their defensive line, there's one guy that really stands out, C.J. Bazile Jr. Like, how do you guys prepare for him and for that defensive line?
I mean, same way we attack every week. It's really with our film study and how we attack practice and how we learn their schemes. So, I mean, just the same as any other week.
You being a local kid, like, does Liberty mean a little something extra to you? I mean,
not particularly. I mean, just another opponent to me, another in-state opponent. So, just excited for the opportunity to play another team.
Anything else, Martin?
Did the extra week of, not having a game this past week, after a big win like that, do you prefer an extra week to revel in it and think about it and enjoy it, or would you rather just go right into the next one?
I mean, our coach has a saying, we get 24 hours to celebrate our win, and then it's on to the next one. So I'd rather have just played another game. I mean, the bye week is really boring to us, so we'd rather just play a game every week if we could.
I was just going to say, what kind of atmosphere do you expect Saturday night?
I mean, our night games are always different, so I'm excited for a packed crowd, packed student section, and just a lot of energy at the game.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. You can go first. All right. Mark, just coming off that big win and then into the bye, like, what was the mindset during the bye week? Because there's all this hype, there's all this headlines and stuff like that, but then you guys kind of like go away for a week. What has the past week been like for y'all?
It's a bye week, not an off week, so we still had to get better. We still had to prepare, and we watched a lot of football this weekend. We were obviously bored, wanting to play, but it's still a time to prepare and get better for this week. It's just a bye week. We can't take anything for granted. So we got to stay focused and continue to get better.
How do you improve coming off the Tech win?
You just got to keep watching film. Get our bodies right. This was a big week for us to, get off of our legs for a little bit and just get our bodies back to close to 100%. So that's just what we have to do.
Coach said that the program in his three previous matchups with Liberty hasn't played its best football against Liberty. I mean, does he relay that to you guys about playing your best football against this team for the first time?
Yeah, for sure. Liberty's they're a good football team. They're well coached. They're going to play hard. I've been here this is going to be my 3rd time playing Liberty since I've been here. So I've never beaten them. So we know they're going to play hard. They're going to run the football. They're going to take shots. But we just got to play our best ball.
Did you watch JMU Liberty this weekend?
For sure.
What did JMU do that kind of held that offense in check where they only scored 13 points?
They tackled. Good defenses tackle. And I feel like JMU, they played really well on defense. They were just getting the ball on the ground when they needed to make plays.
You've played against Vasco before, their quarterback, who may or may not play this week. Does that help, or is there anything you can learn from that experience?
I mean, yeah, I know Vasco. We came out the same year. He was committed here for a little bit. But yeah, we played him a couple times. He's a good quarterback, great athlete. We're just going out there and trying to dominate. You know, I mean, whether he plays or he doesn't, we're just trying to play our best ball against him. You know, he's a good quarterback, but we can stop him if we play our good ball.
I asked Coach this: where is the mental side of this team right now, being 2-1?
I feel like we're confident. You know, we're in a good headspace, coming off a big win, but obviously that's in the past. You know, we got to get better each week, but you know, we're a confident team. We know what we have, and we know that we're a really good team. So, you know, I think it helps us, and we're just going to keep the ball rolling.
You were part of those teams that had lost like 3, 4, 5 in a row and had to scramble late. Do you? I'm not saying you guys think about it, but do you go, we never want to be in this position ever again?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think any team wants to be in that position, but specifically for us, you know, we're trying to win every week. You know, we got a good team. We got the people around us to do it. But it starts with our preparation each week. So, you know, we go into each week and we're just trying to dominate the work ahead of us, get ahead of the playbook, and, you know, watch film and the time we got. And we're just trying to be great. So, yeah.
Has beating a program like Virginia Tech changed the way people interact with you over the past week and a half?
I mean, here and there. You know, I don't really focus on that. But, you know, people have their thoughts and opinions on that. You know, we've gotten a lot of love, obviously, from our fan base. But, you know, it's good to win a game like that. Especially at their house. But, yeah, no, we're just focused on the next week. So.
We talked with Coach Rahne about this, but over the past 2 weeks, we've seen the national media talk about college football playoff chances and the group of 5 schools and ODU being in that, you know, top 3 or 4 group. How do you kind of put that noise away and focus on the task at hand?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really our big worries right now. You know, that's in the future. We're just trying to go 1-0 each week. We're worried about Liberty this week, and what happens in the future. You know, we're worried about winning the conference championship first. You know, we got to win that first, and then bowl game and playoff if that's an option. You know, obviously it'll be great, but we're just trying to win each week, starting with Liberty.
Do you expect Saturday like some energy and buzz in the stadium, considering another in-state opponent, a team that, you know, there's some fans and some fan base around here as well for them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Liberty's 3 hours away. They're close. You know, so I'm hoping. I really believe it. You know, our student section is going to be packed out. You know, especially coming off of this win. I think people are excited to get out there, you know, after having this bye week. So I'm sure the fans are excited to get back out there and watch us play. So I think it's definitely going to be great energy, you know, and a good atmosphere this weekend.
Anything else for Aaron?
Yeah, does a win like last week's help you guys understand that the staff is doing things the right way, and if you listen to them, you'll get these kind of results?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our coaches put us in the best position to win each week. You know, they do their job, and we just got to execute the game plan. We got to do our 111th on defense. You know, I mean, they put us in great situations each week. But, you know, we have a bunch of faith in them, a bunch of confidence in our coaches that they're going to, you know, put us in the right situations to win.
You guys good? All right, thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.